Okay, I'm going to take a minute to talk about all of the gorgeous websites I've seen you guys do from Squarespace. Now, of course, Squarespace is our sponsor. And a couple of weeks ago or last week, I told you to send me your examples of websites that you guys have come up with on Squarespace. And I got to tell you, you guys are so creative. So amazing. We've heard from law firms, skin therapists, painters, photographers, nonprofit organizations, literary blogs. I mean, it's great to know that all of these creative people, all these really fabulous people are listening to our show and that they're going to Squarespace for their websites. Now, if you haven't tried Squarespace yet, start with a free trial at squarespace.com with no credit card required. And when you're ready to purchase a plan, get 10% off with the offer code RU. That's squarespace.com, offer code RU. Hey! It is RuPaul, What's the Tea with Michelle Visage. And hello. And we have a special guest today.
Our first special guest.
This is our first special guest. This is really exciting.
He's popping our guest cherry.
Yes, you are. And who better than Lucian Piane?
Yay!
Hi, guys.
Hi.
What an honor.
Well, when we were in New York, we did a radio show together.
Yeah, that was my first radio show.
Yeah,
What'd you do?
We did Sirius, and we saw Geronimo, our friend.
Oh, that's right. They told me. And Larry saw you too, and he wanted to come up to you. And these are old radio people from our New York City 103.5 KTU days that worked with us, and now they work at Sirius XM.
Yeah.
And they were texting me. Larry was like, I saw Ru. G's talking to him. So they were so excited to see you there.
It was fun. It was fun to find out where radio is today.
That's not radio. Did you
What
do...
is it?
Hold on.
Okay.
Hold that thought. Did they stick you on the gay channel, or were you able to do music as well?
I do not know. Lucian,
I think it ended up on BPM, which
Oh,
is
great. Music channel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I get upset when they know gay-centric artists come in and they just want to push you off to OutQ, which I
Right.
love, but I feel like there's so much more places you can go on Sirius XM. The thing I was saying about Sirius XM, we don't need to make this break about radio, which is fabulous and I love it. I just feel like it never really went to where they wanted it to go, because I was on it for 3 years.
On Sirius?
Yeah, there was a station called The Beat, which was the original like dance music station, and I loved it. And then they kind of ruined it by adding pop music onto our dance music station.
Oh, I see.
It's not. There's a pop station for pop music, so don't mix them. People want their genres.
Because you were on The Beat, which is all boom, 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 boom.
It wasn't quite BPM, which is more like that.
Right, yeah.
It was more like a cross between. It's more like the dance mixes of your favorite pop songs.
Right,
But
right.
don't give me the slow version of the pop song.
Right.
Give me the remix version.
Do
of the
you
pop
listen to the radio? You still listen to the
I
radio?
listen to Howard Stern, so I am a subscriber and I listen to their Broadway channel. I love Seth Rudetsky. I love their Broadway channel.
He has of course he has a channel.
Of
on
course.
there.
Oh, yeah, he's amazing.
Amazing. So for me, I do subscribe and I love SiriusXM. I just wish it could be more universal so people understand it more. I think it's confusing and it's not really what radio is.
Well, Lucian and I talked about this. I have never really liked listening to the radio because it's so compressed. My ear hears a song that's already been compressed when you
mean the
made
music or vocal?
The music. The song has already been compressed as the record or whatever it is, and then you put it on the radio, and that's compressed even more.
Correct.
So the sound of that sort of tinny, white, noisy sound of music, I don't like the way that sounds.
If you have a good engineer, that won't be the case. Most people cheap
I have a
out.
good gynecologist.
Well, I have that too.
Yeah.
And mine also doubles as a sound engineer.
Really?
They hear things like a canyon when
It's
they're
like,
in
hello,
down.
hello,
Exactly.
hello.
So we'd use a tuning fork and make sure everything's good to go.
Mine's also my orthodontist.
Really? Oh, wait a minute. You telling me that your orthodontist is also your gynecologist?
Yes, ma'am.
Right on.
I love it.
Dentata vagina.
Yes, vagina dentata.
Yes. Ooh.
His billboard says we do openings.
Big opening. Thank you, Dr. Zismore.
Right. So, yeah, but do you listen to the radio at all?
Not so much.
Not so
Occasionally.
much. Right.
Well,
But you got me on the whole Eckhart Tolle thing, and that sort of takes up my listening time.
Right.
that's a different thing.
I know. I just
Yeah.
don't listen. I don't really listen
Well,
to
terrestrial
music.
radio, I think, has lost the luster,
Yeah.
which is the problem of the industry that I was in for 17 years.
Yes.
It's because of I don't know how to say it the right way without sounding political, but the problem is they think one way. There's absolutely no free thinking anymore. When we started in 1996, Frankie Blue, our program director, was a very big free thinker.
Yes.
He thought out of the box. He took chances. That's why he was a legend. And they don't do that anymore. Everything is so thoroughly tested and whitewashed and vanillaized that terrestrial radio really doesn't exist the way we knew it. That's why you don't listen to it. That's why
there's no tastemakers or curators.
You're
it
correct.
Seems like if there was an amazing, KCRW, I guess.
Well, yeah, you know what? That's the exception. That is the exception, though.
Right?
You know,
it's the exception.
But what is it? Music becomes eclectic or whatever that is. That is, and I will listen to that. Sometimes in the morning while the gas is being pumped into my car, I will turn on the radio. It's 5 minutes, but still, I will listen to KCRW.
Yeah,
but
which is public radio.
But that's also not mainstream. Really.
No, there's also
that's what's missing, I think.
And there are exceptions to the rule.
Yeah,
just like that. I like Amp Radio because it's the local. It's the dance songs.
I like that station.
The problem is I hate the DJs. And I tried to get on the station. They were like, no, we're going to go with Carson Daly. Oh, that makes sense. Yeah, great. Have fun with that, Mr. Whitewash. Well, not to take anything away from him, he's a good jock, but he's a jock, he's not a personality.
Well, what has happened to all of the radio people that you worked with over the years? Are they...
Well, we've been put out to pasture. I have a feeling that I'll end up doing AC radio in some town that I want to retire in eventually.
Like
because
Boise, Idaho?
Probably not Boise. Probably more like somewhere, nice, Santa Barbara or something, where I can do radio, be happy, love the music, and just enjoy life. I mean, I'm exaggerating, but I can end up doing that. But the way it is now, I'm kind of glad I'm not in it. Because they don't let you be yourself. You get 30 seconds to talk break. Barely, and that's in morning drive. They don't want personality-driven morning radio anymore.
Right,
now they want the music to be the star. Those big morning shows that we love doing are gone.
Really?
Only Elvis Duran is left. Kate Craddock passed away in Texas, but I mean, only Ryan Seacrest. They're only big names that have money sunken into them that have been around.
Wow.
They don't exist anymore, and that's why we're losing, because local radio no longer exists. When I'm in LA or when I'm in Boise, I want to know what's going on in Boise.
Sure.
I don't want to hear Ryan Seacrest talking to me from Hollywood.
Right.
I want to know locally.
And Spotify doesn't have a host, right? I've never really listened to it.
No, I think Spotify just has music like Pandora.
Yeah, just like Pandora, I think.
Yeah, you're looking at me like I know what Pandora does. I actually
haven't listened to Spotify radio yet.
You haven't?
No,
wait a minute. In the studio, you always go to Spotify.
I listen to my playlists and the songs that I look for and whatever, but they do have radio stations, apparently. I haven't listened to those. But it's my impression that those are just like Pandora, where it's just a song and then another song, and it's all based on an algorithm or something.
It's all changing so fast. And, that's why I'm surprised that regular terrestrial radio even still exists. You subscribe to Bob Lefsetz. How do you say that?
I was just reading something he wrote today. Yeah.
How do you say his name?
Bob Lefsetz.
Bob Lefsetz. He's sort of a media forecaster, entertainment forecaster. He has an email list that he sends things out to, and Lucian here subscribes to him, and he forecasts the future of movies or radio and stuff. And what's his take on radio?
Oh, I think
it's for poor people. That's what he said, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think it'll
he
ever
says
go
radio's
away because of that.
For poor people. I think terrestrial radio
But you guys,
is for poor people.
That's why it'll never go away. The problem is the people with the money that invested in it before are going away. They don't have the money to put in it. The spot loads are much lower. They're cheaper.
What's a spot load?
To pay for a commercial, it used to be X amount of dollars, and you only get a 30-second spot once a day. Now they're doing deals where you pay an eighth of what they used to cost, and you get 10 spots throughout the day, or you buy them. And then not only that, because these monopolies, Clear Channel, CBS Radio, Bonneville, things like that, they own multiple stations, so you not only get for that price one station, you get all 5 stations in the cluster. So it's totally tanked. They're kind of one thought per the entire country is what has taken radio down. They need a woman in charge of that shit. That's the problem. No disrespect to the Penis Club. I get it, and I love it, and I've played in it for many years.
Oh, can I join the Penis Club?
You're already in it, girl. You're in both. You're sitting on a secret club.
Well, that was the problem what I had when I was working at radio, was that the suits upstairs, they dictated, we played the exact same song over and over again, and I just didn't like it. It was like, we back then, remember, it was La Bouche, Be My Lover, and Unbreak My Heart by Toni Braxton. It's like, well, let's play a different La Bouche song.
And Amber and...
Well, I see, I love the Amber. Yeah. This is your night. Yes. Love that. And I never got sick of that song. But you would think that they would say, well, let's play another song from that same artist. But no, they wouldn't do that.
And that's why Frankie was great, because he would push the boundary and he would play stuff without asking. But now you really have no idea how thoroughly and ad nauseum things are tested, that it doesn't even make sense. You have to take a chance and spice it up.
That's true with everything.
Correct.
With movies, everything is so researched in advance that it's taken the flavor out of everything.
Life in general.
I
agree.
So I think that
TV, movies.
I listen to my iPod, and even that's out of style right now. Everybody listens to Spotify, or they listen to Pandora. I guess
that caused data, though. That caused data minutes. My daughter listens to Pandora 24/7. My daughter is 14 and is obsessed with Teresa Brewer, Vera Lynn, Frank Sinatra, everybody from a different era. I have no idea.
Wait a minute. Teresa, put another nickel in the
you don't know how many
jukebox.
times I've seen, put another nickel in the Nickelodeon.
Wait a minute.
Girl.
How does she find out about that?
I think through Pandora telling her, if you like, she became obsessed with Vera Lynn that
Love
she
Vera
stumbled
Lynn.
on.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
No idea who she is.
Uh-huh.
She's obsessed with World War II. All of that timing. One thing led to another. I said, if you like her, you're going to like her. Oh, Mary Jo Stratton?
Yes, Mary Jo Stratton. Yeah.
Her, obsessed with her. I can't even follow my kid. I'm like, well, what about Lil Wayne? No, she's an old soul. So she listens to Pandora 24/7.
Wow, that is crazy.
Well, Pandora is like the only one that has like these curators who actually listen to the songs and make all the connections. I see. It's not.
Oh, there's a person. It's not computerized.
No, it's not, and that's why. That's why people are such fans of Pandora.
You'd be good at that, Ru.
I would. I love that. I love being a curator. I think. Let's talk about that in our next break.
Okay.
Curators are so important in our culture today because there's so much information. You need someone who you can trust to go, over there, over here. You used to have mentors or an older brother, an older sister, but there's so much information to navigate.
Yeah.
You got to have a curator.
Yeah. I love it.
You should open a business, a curating business.
Curating pork or
pork. We could start with pork. I love bacon.
Let's also talk about the process of making the album.
Yes, yeah. So we are here with Lucian Piane, and I guess we didn't really describe who he is. We just assumed that
everybody knows.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, Lucian is my songwriting partner. He produces all of my records on at least the past 3 albums, and then he's a frequent judge on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Yes.
And so we'll talk about that when we come back. Now, before we get into Lucian's experience as a judge on RuPaul's Drag Race, let's take a moment to talk about Audible. Now, of course, Audible is the world's leading provider of audiobooks with over 150,000 titles to choose from. And Lucian, of course, mentioned the Eckhart Tolle audiobooks earlier, which I love, by the way. And of course, you can get all of his classic books on audible.com. So go over there and get them. For a free audiobook and a 30-day trial, go to audiblepodcast.com/RuPaul. That's right. Get a free audiobook and a 30-day free trial at audiblepodcast.com/RuPaul. Support them, child, because they support us. All right, we are back with What's the Tea with Michelle Visage and our special guest, our first special guest,
Yay!
Lucian Piane. This morning I was thinking about you because I heard a song. Must have been, I don't remember where it was. Oh, it was in my iPod. That's the only thing I listened to.
Shocker.
It was a song called Kansas City. Kansas City, where I come, or something like that.
There's some pretty little women there, and I'm gonna give me one.
Yes, exactly. Because you're from, he's from Kansas City,
Missouri or Kansas?
Missouri.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yes.
Though Kansas City, it's kind of straddling the state line. So it's like Kansas City. I could walk to Kansas
we
from my house.
We just played Kansas City with the tour, with the Battle of the Seasons tour.
Which city you played?
Kansas City, Momo.
Wow.
Casey Momo.
theater or what place did you?
I'll get back to you on that while you guys carry on.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
I have it.
But Lucian, of course, is just actually got your start in music theater at the Starlight Theater, and made your way to New York and then to Los Angeles, and We Make Records together, and a frequent judge on RuPaul's Drag Race. And I want to talk about that. What is it like being a judge on RuPaul's Drag Race? You come in for how many days? How does it work?
Being a guest judge, it is a little terrifying because you're coming in sort of cold. You haven't seen these queens, and you don't know what you're getting into at all.
How many times have you done it?
This was my third time judging, I think. Is that right? Yes. Third time judging. But my fourth time on the show. It's really wild because in my experience, there's always been a challenge associated. I know some of the other guest judges just come in to judge.
Right, just for that.
But there's a challenge associated. So I get to know them a little bit. And, it's edited down to like 10, 15 minutes.
Right.
But I spent 2 days with them.
And what challenge was this? This was the Shade the Musical?
Shade the Rusical.
Yeah, right. Rusical, exactly. And you, how does the music for the Rusical come about? The producers come to you. What does it work?
Yeah, so the producers came to me and they said, we have this idea. We want to do a challenge with the girls and we want to do a musical. And we have 2 teams, so we needed to divide it into 2 acts. And then Tom Campbell came over to my studio, and we basically mapped the whole thing out together. And then, we wrote it.
The lyrics?
Yeah, he did on this. He's actually co-lyricist.
Because Tom Campbell, for those of you who are listening, is one of our executive producers, but he's also some otherworldly, intelligent freakazoid, Harvard graduate, out of his mind. Psycho writer.
Exactly.
I mean, he's one of the most brilliant people I've ever met in my life.
That's exactly right.
It is true.
He is. I mean, just and also besides being one of the most brilliant people, he's so much fun.
Hilarious.
I mean, it's literally like when he's been over to my studio a couple times for different projects, and every time I'm like excited he's coming over because his energy. Yeah. If you are at all feeling down, by the time he leaves, you're like on cloud 9.
Have you made love? Incredible. Have you made love?
Well, I didn't know that this was that kind of show.
It's always that kind of show, Lucian.
I love him so much.
He's great. So he comes over. You guys write this thing together, and then you just put it on the show.
Yeah, orchestrate it up and create the. Usually, there's like a guide vocal, and all the queens learn it with my voice doing all the parts.
Right.
Which eventually, one day, 20 years down the line, I'm sure all my demos will be on. Like,
yay!
Where are they now?
In the box set.
I love it.
On the C side.
Actually, that might happen sooner rather than later because we do these. Last season we did an album of all of the girls. All of the contestants singing our songs from my catalog, the songs that we've written together. Yeah. So, that might be an extra added bonus, your demos and stuff.
It's very entertaining, that's for sure.
It is fun. I love a demo.
I do a lot of different things. Well, for the reunion or finale show, the girls do the top 3 number. And
right.
I'm particularly proud of my Bianca impression on the recording. I don't think you guys have heard it.
No, we heard her.
Oh yeah, when with all the swear words. I don't know if we can say all those. Right. But I just went off, and Bianca was like, "That was a pretty good impression of me, kiddo."
Oh, so you worked with her on that?
I did.
Oh, you had to guide them. Oh, because they were lip syncing themselves? No, they did.
No,
they
sang live.
They sang it live.
Yeah.
Right,
they sang live.
It's a rarity these days. Right. People do it.
It's amazing.
So fun. Oh, but back on Shade the Rusical, this just this morning, John Pauly sent over the video. You probably haven't seen it yet, but the video, a video of this little girl doing the entire Shade the Rusical.
You are kidding me.
In front of the television. And she's like 7 or 8 and she's just adorable. And she's like...
That's our key audience.
God, all of this part's memorized. And she's facing us and the video's behind her. And she's doing the actions and the choreography.
No way!
And it's like, she doesn't know all of it perfectly. But it's really interesting. The things that she really sticks and remembers are the spoken lines that are like rhythmic spoken lines.
Right.
Because it's like a nursery rhyme or something. I mean, it's just kind of amazing. It's so fun to watch.
What amazes me is the impact. I think as a performer, part of my ability to sustain myself is to not pay too much attention to what effect it has on people, and just to do my thing, because whether the effect is positive or negative, it's important for me to just stay the course. But when I do get feedback that some 7-year-old is so involved with the show that they've memorized every line, or that someone has tattooed my picture on their body or something, it kind of freaks me out a little bit in a good way,
because it's surreal.
It is so surreal. So there's a sense that even when I used to blog years ago on my website RuPaul.com,
1982.
Yeah, I used to say to myself, well, write what you want. Nobody reads this stuff. It's a little lie I tell myself to so I can do it. Because if I thought about it, oh my God, the 7-year-olds, they're going to be watching this again, I probably wouldn't do anything. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's this weird
dichotomy is the word you're
What's a
looking
dichotomy? It's a weird little toy game I have with myself.
Good.
Yes.
Good.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the process of doing Born Naked.
Yes, which is the latest album, which of course you are on. And we sing a duet together. We hadn't done a duet together since my Ho 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 album.
Since Hard Candy Christmas.
Oh my God. Remember, we had so much fun recording that. Yeah. We recorded that in my living room in New York over the course of 3 days, I think.
It was pretty quick. Well, we did 2 songs together. We did Hard Candy Christmas and I'll Be Home with Bells On.
Right.
I think it was 2 days. I feel like it was 1.
It may have been 1. It may have been an afternoon.
It may have been.
But the spontaneity of the performance is on the record. Yeah. And you listen to the Ho 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 record and you're there. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
It is so much fun. But we have a song together on the Born Naked album called Let the Music Play.
Not to be confused with Shannon's Let the Music Play.
Not to be confused. But, on the show, of course, I say, I close the show with, if you can't love yourself, now let the music play. And I thought, well, that's perfect. And I think more than any other record I've ever done, we have all of the catchphrases from the show are on the Born Naked album.
Yeah.
Because the album is called Born Naked, which is the famous You're Born Naked and the Rest is Drag. We've got
Sissy That
Walk.
Yeah, which is a part of dialogue in the show.
Geronimo.
Well, I don't know if it's... we don't
Adrenaline.
We don't say that, Michelle.
No, but the songs are good. So go with it.
Are good.
But what's
One Shot?
No, I don't say that on the show. But there are little places where the dialect and the vernacular from the show ends up on the record. You want to talk a little bit about the process it takes for us to when we write? Because
how does it start? Do you start with lyrics or do you start with the beat?
Both.
Any
all configurations.
A lot of times, Lucian will have a track and he'll have a melody associated with the track, and he'll say, "Do you like this one?" I go, "Do you like this one?" I like this one right here. So okay, well, let's write something else. And then I'll say, "Oh, maybe we can do, we'll add a slogan like, let's try, let the music play. Like, let the music. I want a song, let the music, and see if we try to fit that lyric into that melody."
You're leaving out the part where I get up and perform.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I wish there was a camera.
Well, there can be.
Specifically for the song Freaky Money. Watching him get up and dance around to Freaky Money. Because Freaky Money is this New Orleans bounce track. And it's, it's very booty oriented. And
Lucian's his white boy.
Well, Lucian's mother was a dance instructor, and he comes from a musical background and dance and theater and everything. So he has no problem getting up and shaking his butt. And he does the embarrassing things in front of me. I don't know if he does in front of other people.
Would you do it at a wedding?
If I had enough,
he's liquid courage.
He's a fantastic dancer. He has no problem expressing himself, which is so. And so that's how we work. We dance, we laugh, we go to lunch.
Yeah,
we come back, we dance, we talk a lot. We talk a lot about philosophy, ideas, and then we do a little music. So
like the modern day KRS-One.
Yes, exactly. Right. Boogie Down Productions. Yes.
Well, those conversations end up being in our lyrics.
They do.
That's what we do.
Can I get an amen? That's another one.
Can I get an amen? That's another song on here. Exactly. Yeah.
Of course.
But all of what we talk about ends up in the lyrics. The philosophy, all of the stuff, because we both follow the Course of Miracles and Eckhart Tolle, all of that stuff. So all of it ends up in there in a package that's fun and pop. And all that, and
empowering. It's all about being empowered.
Absolutely,
yeah.
And then I was so excited for Lucian and Michelle to work together because you both have the music theater background. Yes. I'm sure this won't be the end of your.
The irony was that it was about us finding the least musical theater part of your.
So just take down the musical theater and bring up that pop girl, and I'm like, it's been a minute since I had to call on that pop girl.
Oh my god!
Because I'm singing Broadway show tunes every night on tour. And,
yeah.
That's what I listen to. That's all I listen to.
Right.
And, that's why when somebody tweets me and says, "What's your favorite pop song now?" I'm like, anything from Spring Awakening?
No, that's not true. You love hip hop. Oh,
yes, I do, yeah. And I listen to hip hop as well. But that's my iPod. My iPod goes from hip hop, extreme hip hop, to extreme Broadway, and not just the popular stuff.
Like Raekwon.
Just I have Raekwon. Raekwon. And then I go into, Sugar or some obscure musical that nobody's ever heard of.
Oh, I remember Sugar.
Nobody ever remembers Sugar.
It was
Some Like It Hot.
Right. It was Some Like It Hot. Yeah. That's right. That's right. Right, because I was just in New York recently and I got to see some shows. Did you see
Book of Mormon yet?
Oh, my God. Listen, I'm 2 years late, okay?
No, listen, I haven't seen it.
You're
but
kidding
I have
me.
the whole soundtrack and I know it. Oh. I just haven't seen it.
Okay, listen, I'm not a music theater queen. Yes. I appreciate it. My favorite music theater song is It's a Hard Knock Life.
Well, it's one of the best written musicals.
It's brilliant. But I'm not a big fan of songs that are singing our song like this. Michelle is over there and Lucian's over here.
So you hate Sondheim?
Well, no, I love Sondheim. I love that. It's an acquired taste. I love that song, Loving You Is Not, but I can't remember the melody because it's so odd.
Well,
right? Isn't that his song?
That's
Loving
the thing
you.
with Sondheim. Sondheim is a lyrical genius. I think I tweeted it like a couple weeks ago. If Sondheim was an MC, he would slay. Like, he is a lyrical genius. Yeah. Seriously.
It's true.
Any of his shows, the lyrics will blow you away. Even West Side Story, he wrote the lyrics. And that was Bernstein, who was amazing. But as a lyricist, he's unforgettable. Wow. His melodies, you can never find.
I can't find those melodies.
They're very difficult.
Well, when I was in New York, I saw 3 shows.
What did you see?
I saw Heathers, the musical.
How was it?
I saw I saw Hedwig
with Neil Patrick Harris.
And I saw Book of Mormon. I got to tell you, Book of Mormon is a game changer. I'm 2 years late.
Doesn't matter.
Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe it. I was so excited for the show. It was so funny and so smart. It is the 21st century of music theater.
Correct.
Now, again, I would prefer a show to have pop songs as the songs. It's still music theater, but it's so funny and irreverent and today that I forgive the fact that some of the songs sound like this.
It's a game changer for them too.
For
Matt Stone and Trey Parker, because up until then, they felt like they would. As a matter of fact, I think they showed up at the Oscars like on E or something like that because they never thought that they'd win. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And then I think this, because they won a Tony for it, apparently it was some kind of game changer for them that they're really taking everything seriously now.
Oh yeah, Matt Stone, who actually is a friend of mine, they've moved to New York to be at the show. There are 4 touring companies.
Yes.
4 touring companies around the world right now of Book of Mormon.
Josh Gad came from there, and he's the voice of Olaf in Frozen. And Olaf is the breakout star, the little snowman from the movie Frozen, and he came from Book of Mormon. So if you listen to the original cast, you'll hear his voice as clear as day.
Well, the songwriters of Book of Mormon also wrote the songs to Frozen.
Lopez.
Yeah. Robert Lewis.
Yeah, it's fantastic. But the soundtrack, if you can't afford to see a ticket, my problem has always been I can't get in. Every time I'm there, it's sold out. I just can't get in.
Listen, call me. I'll call my friend Matt Stone.
All right, got it. Deal.
Yeah.
I'm going for Pride. It's a deal.
Sure. Yeah.
So that's incredible, but. Go back to what you guys were saying.
The process of writing, because you two got together and you recorded your parts for
Let the Music Play.
Now, tell me about that. Did you guys laugh and kiki the way that Lucian and I laugh and kiki?
Yeah, I think we did to the way that we would. We had a good time. We were laughing and carrying on.
Yeah.
Mostly, we kept singing it over and over because I hadn't really learned the words. So we kept singing them over and over again. And I didn't know what I was going to sing. So I was just singing the song. Yeah. We're like, is this my part? He's like, I don't know. Let's just do it. And then we'll pick when we're done. Yeah. So it was kind of that, and him coaching me through, taking me out of theater and back into my pop voice. I haven't recorded a pop song since 1992.
Is that something you want to do?
I'd love to do a pop song. And I've told you this before. It has to be a song that's going to make me want to sing it. Yeah. Otherwise, I'll stick to musical theater, because that's what I get joy out of singing. All those horrible songs that you hate, I live for.
Right.
You know, and there's something for everybody.
Well, but some of those songs are good. Like Hard Knock Life. How could you not?
There's been a lot since then.
There has been a lot since then, but it's a perfect meld between pop and that sort of music theater thing.
What is it about Hard Knock Life that makes you?
Okay, he's prompting me because I'm going to do the part. Hopefully, I can hit that note.
I'll help.
It's that change it's that chord change when he goes. It's a hard knock life for me. It's for us. It's a hard knock. It's a hard knock life for us. It's a hard luck life
That's
for us. I just love that. It makes me feel good.
Yeah, well, it's a brilliantly written musical. Oh, every song in it. I'll be in the shower at 45 years old singing, used to room in a tomb where I'd sit and freeze. I'm 45 singing Annie in the shower.
Right,
one of the best soundtracks ever scored.
Because it's tomorrow, it's maybe, or however that goes.
Maybe far away.
Yes. And then there's NYC.
One of the most beautiful songs ever written. What is it about
Who wrote that show?
It's
Strauss.
It's brilliant. Did he do any other things? He must have.
I don't know if Charles Strauss wrote anything else. I'm sure he did. And I should know that. But
it is great. But there are great pop songs that have come out of shows. Like, we talked about Stephen Schwartz on our RuPaul Drives, and he did that beautiful song from Pippin called
Corner of the Sky?
I Guess I'll Miss the Man.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a pop song. And I love that. Why can't there be a Broadway show with all pop songs? Oh, Michelle, do you remember when Earth, Wind, and Fire had that show called The Red Shoe, and they adapted all of their songs to a Broadway show?
Yeah, so Charles Strauss wrote Bye Bye Birdie.
Oh, well, there you go.
One of my all-time favorite musicals. I should know that. He wrote Applause. He wrote Annie. He wrote so many. He also wrote the follow-ups like Annie Warbucks and stuff like that everybody saw. But his strongest was Bye Bye Birdie, Applause, and Annie. He's got a bunch of others.
Wow. Is he still alive?
I think he's still alive. He was born in 1928.
He wrote Minsky's most recently.
Oh, Minsky's. Yeah. Like I know what that is.
That was the problem. Not many people did.
Well, okay.
It was at the Amundsen for a moment.
I see. So you guys got together and you did the song, and it turned out really gay. Did I say really gay?
Yeah, but it did turn out really gay. Let's face it.
It turned out really gay.
So gay.
Yeah. So sorry.
Wait, but that's what you said when you heard it. You're like, does this make me gay?
Well, I texted you, Rue, when I heard it, and I go, oh my God, I have tears in my eyes. Does that make me gay? And you're like, mm-hmm.
Yes.
And I'm like, yeah, well, I'm on the right path.
Right. Well, the song sort of formed itself. It's a song about friendship. It's a song about being friends, and then the friendship changing and being strained,
going
through it, and then coming back round, and it actually being stronger than ever before.
Right.
And actually, when I hear that song, it makes me cry too.
Yeah.
And even though we've never had a really big falling out. No. You moved to Florida. There's this and that. In fact, when we conceived the show RuPaul's Drag Race, we conceived it with her in mind, with Michelle, but she was contractually obligated to doing radio in Florida, so she couldn't do it. But that was never really a riff.
I don't think it was a rift. I think you were upset with the fact that I couldn't do it, and I think I felt that because I know you that well, and we share so much on a different level that I knew that I was letting you down, and you were upset with me that I wasn't able to do it. But I don't think it would ever be to the point where I was like, why do you hate me? And you're going, I hate you.
Right.
It was never that. It was that I let you down, and I think you felt like, why isn't she there for me?
No, I understood, though. I knew you had a contract.
Not only contract, I was the only breadwinner.
Yeah.
It's starve or do that damn radio show.
Sure, yeah.
So that was the only moment. I don't think we've ever argued, and if we did, it was always like, girl, you're wrong, Sean. Do you know what I mean? We've never had that.
No, it's been fabulous.
Yeah.
So the song is a perfect fit,
but
at the same time, it does bring up, because obviously I have had relationships with people where it just it just falls apart. And sometimes they've come back together, but some people aren't really here for the long haul, and that's okay. That's what, living on the planet a long time, teaches you. You get used to it.
And also A Return to Love teaches you that too.
Mm-hmm. Sure. All of that. I think
the book by Marianne Williamson.
Yeah. But, all philosophical, doctrines talk about, the birth and the rebirth of this planet,
Well, we should talk about that friendship a little bit more.
Okay.
When we come back. Sound like it?
Why not? Right, let's do it. Now, speaking about the birth of relationships, Eli emailed us at RuPaulPodcast@gmail.com saying, I'm a big fan of the show and the podcast. I'm a painter and recently switched my website over to Squarespace and love the look of it. Great recommendation. Eli, you are a fantastic artist and I love your new website. It's fan-friggin-tastic. Squarespace did you right, honey. Now, if you guys want to see Eli's website, go to EliGHalpern.com or just go to our website and see all of his beautiful paintings and sculptures and just fantastic. Now, we even had law firms write in with their Squarespace websites. Otto Iglesias is a lawyer who built a website that is absolutely fantastic. It's called attorneyiglesias.com and it looks gorgeous. It covers all of his professional needs. He's got an about page, an area of expertise page, a contact form for inquiries, and his pertinent office information. Now, with Squarespace, you can create a website to fit your needs with a time commitment that's very small, and you don't need a big design background. If you can use Facebook, you can use Squarespace. Now, their plans start at only $8 a month and come with a free domain name when you sign up for a year. $8 a month. Start with a free trial with no credit card required just by going to squarespace.com. Now, when you're blown away and ready to confirm a plan, use the offer code RU and get 10% off. You'll be getting a great deal by supporting this podcast and helping to keep it free. That's squarespace.com, offer code RU. Thanks again to our wonderful sponsor. And y'all keep sending in your websites to RuPaulPodcast@gmail.com. We might even talk about it on our program. Hey, we're back, and we're going to talk about Friends on RuPaul What's the Tea with Michelle Visage and our very special guest, Lucian Piane, who I've known you for how long, Lucian? We
met on the streets in New York.
That's right.
Many years ago.
Yeah, this is before Grindr, honey.
You're outside of Boots and Saddles again. What was you doing?
No, I had moved back to New York because we were doing a radio show for WNEW. Allegedly. And I moved from LA back to New York, and I was living in I still have the same place. And you stopped me on the street. It was coming out of Kim's video.
TLA?
TLA video,
yeah.
Right. Yeah. On 8th Street.
8th Street, right?
Yeah.
Near
6th Avenue. Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
And he stopped me and said, "Hey, N-word."
He did not. He did not. His name is not Sharon Needles.
That's exactly what I did.
No, he introduced himself, and then
my friend goes, "Oh, that's RuPaul. That's RuPaul," and I was just like, "Hi," and you were like, "Hey, kiddo," and then that was it. I mean,
was I on my bike? Was on my bike?
You had your bike. Yeah, you had your bike with you.
And that was about 05 or 06?
That would have been. Oh, that might have been before then.
It could have been 04 because I moved back in 04.
Maybe you were just there visiting because I think it was like
you moved back at the
okay. Yeah,
I think it was like 2002.
Yeah,
because I was starting February 05.
That's right. Right.
I think it was 2002 because I was with my friend from high school who had just gotten there, and yeah.
But then I met you again in 05.
You lived here in 02.
I think,
I was. Yeah,
I think again on the street again.
Yes, on the street again, and then A World of Wonder, the production company that does RuPaul's Drag Race, brought us together to possibly write the theme song to the show, right. And we met at World of Wonder, and we were talking, and I knew immediately this is someone who we speak the same language, you know. And it was beautiful.
I love when that happens.
Yeah. And we decided to, not only did we write the theme song, we wrote a song, which then turned into a whole album. And here we are 3 albums later.
I love it.
Yeah.
And a friendship.
And a friendship.
But that's the whole thing with friendship. You never see it coming. And I think so many people go, whether it's relationship or friendship, and they go, well, they're not my type.
Right.
They cut off a world of what could have been, you know? Nobody would ever put you and me together.
Well,
No, they really wouldn't.
I don't know about that.
The way they know us now, they would, but the way we were then, Rue, we were so different.
Yeah, but this is Michelle and I found out there was a dance station in New York, and as a dance artist, I wanted to go and support it. So I had my people call up and say, "Look, I want to come in and do an interview." I walk into the studio, and there's Michelle Visage, and I'm like, "Of course you're here," because listen, it is a backstory. This girl, who I've seen in the club scene forever and ever, in different incarnations, because whatever happens in the universe, this girl will land on her feet. Will always land. That's who she is. So when she was behind the microphone at the radio station, like, of course you're here. Right. She had already done Seduction. She had already done Soul System. She'd already done the ball scene and all that stuff. With the kids and the voguing and all that stuff. And here she was now. And I'm like, yes.
But that's the first time we actually work together, because we'd work together, but not together right. At the club. In our club days.
Yeah.
For Suzanne.
I'll never forget you walking into the Red Zone, this club that used to be almost
Stephen Lewis.
Yeah, but wasn't that where Studio? It was next. It was close to where Studio 54 was. It's a block north. It's at 55th.
Yeah, 50
it's the Red Zone, whatever. Yeah. She was walking across the dance floor, and Lincoln Palgroves III had you by the arm. You were walking across, and she had this tight, long dress on, and she was walking across the dance floor like Morticia Adams because she couldn't walk.
But I still made it happen.
She sure did. Oh my God. Anyway,
so let me get this straight. You were laughing at me? Is that how our friendship started? You was laughing at me?
No, this is the thing, is that she knew everybody was looking at her because she was in the group Seduction, which had this huge music, huge hit. And it was on the rise because it hadn't gone to number one yet. So you guys were playing this club.
We only played Red Zone once.
Yeah, that was the night. And so anyway, but it's weird. Friends and people who come into your life and the ones that stick around, and it's interesting to pay attention because you never know who's going to be there for the long haul.
You don't.
You just don't.
And it's okay if they're not. And that's one of the things that I learned from A Return to Love. When I got out of a relationship, we talked about this on a podcast before, but Rue was there because we were on the radio together, and I got out of a really bad relationship that I don't think I still have closure with this day because it happened so horribly on the phone after 5 years.
Do you know where you hid the body?
Do you want to hide a body? I do, but don't tell his current wife.
Yes.
She's left with the carcass.
Was the entire relationship on the phone as well?
I wish it was. It would have made it that much easier to break up. It was all in my head. But thank God for Rue, who was there for me with the book and said, listen, you have to read this. This got me through.
Yeah.
And that has to do with friendships. You can apply it everywhere. Not everybody comes into your life for the long haul. Some people come for very short, and you learn your lesson and they're gone. And you have to make peace with that, I think. Some people struggle so hard to get that person back, whether it's a friend, a lover, or otherwise. And it's like, no, baby, no. Yeah. You have to let that go. Because what you needed from them, what you were meant to get from them, was just this.
Right.
Just this. And now it's over.
Well, the book I gave Michelle is called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, and you can download that book at audible.com. Now, Audible is the world's leading provider of audiobooks with over 150,000 titles on their site. And listen, so much of the things we talk about here on this podcast are things I've learned and picked up from audiobooks. For the past 20 years, I have listened to lectures and audiobooks before I go to bed every single night. And I just love it. Somehow it sinks into your consciousness so much better listening to it that way. Now, I still read books, but listening to a book over and over, I never get tired of it. I just love it. And if you really want to expand your horizons and find yourself, listen to an audiobook and go to audible.com to get it. Now, with Audible, you can listen on any phone, tablet, or computer. You can also switch devices without losing the place thanks to the WhisperSync technology. For a free audiobook and a 30-day trial, go to audiblepodcast.com/RuPaul. Now, by signing up for Audible, you'll be enjoying a great service, saving money, and helping to keep this podcast free. Hey, why don't you send us your audiobook suggestions at RuPaulPodcast@gmail.com, because I'm always on the lookout for great audiobooks. That's audiblepodcast.com/RuPaul. Thanks again to Audible. Well, you've heard that thing where people get successful, they get famous, and the people around them are the ones who change. They don't change. It's the people around them, the friends and stuff. And, over the years, as my popularity has waned, it's tied, the ebb and flow, the whole thing. It's interesting to see other people change around it. 'Cause I don't feel like I must change. I don't feel like I changed, but it's weird how the people around you take that in.
But you haven't changed.
I don't think so. I think this is the thing with drag. It's all a joke. Drag really mocks culture. It mocks identity. So for me to say, "Oh, I'm the star," and to prance around like, "Oh, I'm the star," that's completely the opposite of what it is that I'm doing.
Yeah, with these monsters that you've created and released into
my
the wild.
My daughters, yes.
They do believe that. So on this tour, I'm the one who sits there and goes, "Let you not forget that you are a boy wearing women's clothing, lip syncing somebody else's music and getting paid for it. So I'm going to have to take you down a couple notches and let you go, who the hell do you think you are?"
Right.
I've known you since 1987.
Yeah.
The only thing that's changed is you're clean now. And your dresses are a lot longer.
Yes.
That's the only thing that's changed. And you don't wear jeans anymore.
Right.
Seriously. But everything else, and I feel like I've remained the same through Seduction, through Soul System. I've never changed who I am as a person.
So now walk me through the different incarnations of the girls on the tour. Because Michelle goes on the Battle of the Season.
Yeah.
So you get to see there's 75 alumni who have come through RuPaul's Drag Race.
And we only choose from a pool of about 15 because everybody's booked at any given time. So the cities change, but there are a handful, and I'm going to say it's a small group of maybe 3 or 4 that have to be checked.
Really?
Most of them are so excited to be creatively doing this because it's an output for this art form. This is incredible. People get to see them do stuff that they were not seen doing on the show.
Sure.
So it's really fantastic to see really what Fifi O'Hara brings to the stage. See what Alaska does. See what people do that you only get a taste of it on the show. Then there's the ones that buy into the hype of the show and think that they really are Lady Gaga or Madonna. And it's like, no bitch. Mm-hmm. Carmen will go through these, Carrera will go through these things of, we should be doing like a $40 million tour. Like, this should be like really big. Like, why are we doing these small cities? And I'm like, honey, no. We're not there yet. We've got little baby steps before. We've got to build our, like, in their heads, it's really delusional.
Well, the thing about the show, there are only 2 types of people on the planet. The ones who buy lock, stock, and barrel that, you are everything it says you are on your driver's license. And then the ones who see outside of the matrix and understand this is all illusion and can have a laugh at it, And it's interesting. I remember during my down period, not down mentally, but when I was not very popular, I'd see people in stores and they say, "You know what you need to do? You need to get back on television." Like all you have to do is go
knock on somebody's door.
Hey, it's like, hey, you know what?
Can I have a show?
I'm going to go on to NBC now.
Yeah.
It's like it doesn't work that way, and there's no way in the world you can describe or explain to people what show business is and how it actually happens, because it's a fantasy world and they want to keep that fantasy. And if you break the fourth wall and tell them this is what it really is, they will actually get angry at you because you sort of kill their buzz, you kill their fantasy.
Well, that's what I'm there to do. I'm there to kill their buzz.
That's what you're a buzz killer.
Reality is, Ru, when this is over, so is probably going to be their career. So you, not always.
Right.
And I speak this from experience, having had 5 different careers already.
Yeah.
You have to be prepared for when it does end. Right. When the show is over, people are going to forget you.
Yes.
So what is your next chapter? And that's what I say. So when there's only a few, like I said, that'll come off the stage and go, this is why I'm a fucking pop star. I am a star. And throwing shit around dressing rooms and saying, why isn't this way? Why do I not have this? And it's like, bitch, slow your roll.
Yeah.
And they don't get it. So they either do or they don't. I've done all this before. I've toured all this before. I've toured with shows. I've toured with a pop group. I get it. They don't. So I'm here to be the voice of reason. Now, whether they listen or not is a different story. And you know what's ruining all of this for everybody is reality television. Because now people who don't have talent are, and I'm using air quotes, celebrities, when they really should not be.
Well, yeah.
For all intents and purposes. Meaning, it used to be you had to have talent to be a star. And this talent is revered and amazing. Now, you can cut somebody's hair or just fight every night on TV, and you're a star. For what exactly?
But see, now I beg to differ here, because I think that the definition of being a star or having talent, that has changed, because...
Yes, it has.
It depends on who the consumer is and what they want. Your talent may just be that
you're born poor?
No, that you appeal to a certain consumer who identifies with you.
Okay.
And we can talk about, we don't have to even name names. There are so many huge stars who are just famous for being famous.
Yes.
But their talent happens to be that the consumer, 13-year-old girl or whoever, identifies with them, and that person becomes their voice, the 13-year-old's voice. It's a talent because we've just had to change the definition of what talent is. It's not that they can, tap dance at 100.
You don't think luck has anything to do with that?
Luck is a huge part of becoming a star.
Because I attribute it more to luck than talent.
It is luck, but we have to broaden the idea of what talent is.
Yeah. But still, there's casting directors who cast these people based on...
Sure.
How they'll come across on television.
Sure.
Do you know what I mean? So on a certain level, their personalities are hitting some mark that people read as being like entertainment.
Correct. Mm-hmm. And I agree with the personality, but that's a personality. That's not a talent, I think. I think that if you use the personality to do comedy, to be a host, then that's a different story. That's a talent. Right. Somebody just being is just the way you are. But that's what reality TV has done. I'm not saying that's good or bad. It's just created a new kind of sect of celebrity.
I think the real talent when it comes to reality television is once people have that
what do they
celebrity
do with it? Yeah.
And I think that we have seen certain reality stars sort of transcend that little show that they've done and then market themselves and brand themselves and turn it into a business and turn it into something.
Well, that's the future now, this branding thing.
Well, that's the future. That's what it is. I mean, Elizabeth Hasselhoff, wasn't she on The Bachelor?
She was on Survivor. Close.
She was on Survivor?
She was on season 2, I think, of Survivor.
And then she parlayed that into
The View, and now she's this right-wing, uptight, Republican gluten-free mom. But there are people that will follow that.
That is, it's a viable career path, and she basically adapted herself to what the business needed. And so, sure, there are plenty of people who've made a success out of being a reality star. But the thing is, we were talking about the girls on our show and how sometimes the fame goes to their heads.
Correct.
Fame is like drugs and alcohol. So,
yes.
Some people are fun, happy drunks, and some people are mean, evil drunks. And you never know until you get them drunk.
Right.
But which is the same with fame. You never know how somebody's going to react to it. You and I have both been doing this for a long time. We know the ups and outs, downs and, sideways. But you cannot save someone from themselves.
No, you can't. And when it happens so quickly, when they go from nothing to something, that's when they change.
Yeah.
Most of the time. Not all the time, but that's what it does. Like, it happened so fast. I didn't see it coming. Right. I didn't know what was happening. And what did you expect me to do?
Right.
And it's kind of like, for me, because I've lived it so long, for you, because you've lived it, I learned not to spend my money right away. I learned that I have to put stuff into the bank. And these kids don't know that. They're out there going, TV money, let me treat you. And I try to say, kids, this is not going to be there tomorrow. Yes, you have to live for today. You have to live in the moment, but you also have a little bit of planning.
Sure.
A little bit, like how you're going to pay your rent.
Listen, I grew up, hearing the stories of all the Motown stars who, their deal was crap.
Hello, seduction.
Yeah, and then they ended up, having to tour to make their money, which is good money, but it's, it takes a lot of money to live a certain way.
But at least they were able to tour. When Seduction ended, I had $0. We had to split 1 point between 3 girls, and you know what I did? I worked in a strip club for 2 years.
Oh, yeah.
And people would come in and be like, why is Michelle from Seduction working at Goldfinger's? And I had no problem with it. My pride was always my pride. It was never tarnished or damaged because I had to pay my bills. That's why I was working in a strip club.
Yeah.
No problem.
In your experience, like, what is it that makes someone vulnerable to a change because of fame? Like, what personal character trait or inner perspective of themselves is it that makes someone vulnerable to being like, oh, now she just changed into this person or whatever,
You mean like what allows a person to, when the chips come down to it, that they're able to adapt to what the landscape is asking of you, or the ones who are susceptible?
The ones who are susceptible.
Like,
susceptible.
You know what? It has to do with believing your own hype.
Yeah.
Understanding that, thinking that the character you portray on stage is who you are off stage. You know, doing drag, it's the epitome of you know, being a character on stage. When I go home, I'm not Miss Supermodel of the World. I wash it off, and it goes down the drain, and it's me. And I think the people who are able to adapt are the ones who understand that. I think that's why I'm surprised at some of our drag race girls.
Not many, though. I'm going to say not many. Out of all the ones you released, if I say 3 or 4, that's not a lot. Out of 75?
Right,
yeah,
you're right. You're right. Most of them get it. Most of these kids are little boys who were, you know, cast aside by their parents and by society, and they learn how to be tough, and they learn that it's all a hoax, it's all illusion, so you can laugh at it. But that doesn't mean that, you know, you can't plan for the future, that you get, you know, my ability to be in the business for now 32 years is my ability to adapt. And that's for everybody listening. If you can adapt, that's the strongest trait humans have, is the ability to adapt to what the situation calls for. And if you're smart, and you don't even have to be that smart, you'll know exactly what to do, you know, because I'm not that smart. I just know that my talent has to do with the fact that I'm creative, and that people like me, and that can go a long way.
Yeah.
You know, I'm also a lucky person.
And
too.
for the people who believe the hype about themselves, and then, you know, identify with this new famous identity, and then go off and have these tirades of I'm better than people, and that sort of thing. Where do you think that actually comes from? Is that the fear of losing it?
I think it comes from having nothing. That's what I think.
You know, I think that you're both right, but I think it really has to do with oppressed people take on the characteristics of their oppressor. If someone has treated them that way, they've seen someone do it, then they are going to do that same thing. Or if you see how certain people in different cultures, they respect someone who treats them terribly, who treats them bad.
Yeah.
You know, it's very few people. It's like, I always think of it as like the Madonna role, who I love Madonna, and then there's the Kylie Minogue. Kylie Minogue's personality is like, hey, let's have fun. Hi,
Yeah.
what's your name?
Yeah.
Let's go do something. You want to dance? Let's dance. Madonna is the other girl in school. She's the mean girl at school, who's like, who lets you know that you're not good enough for her. And people respond to that. You know, I never responded to that in Madonna. I never liked that. Love Madonna, the music, the whole look and all that, but I didn't like that aspect of her. But it's funny.
I don't know if anybody does like that.
No, but I think they do. I don't know if they consciously do, but in America, around the world, I think the consumer, that's the thing that makes a person get involved with a pop star like that, and really want to emulate them, because your secret self, the one that dances around in front of the mirror, says, oh, now I'm that girl. I'm that mean girl. Now I can be that girl. I can be it through Madonna.
But did you think she was like that growing up?
Yes.
But let me just say that when she first started, I didn't get it as much as I get it in the past 10 years.
Right. Mm-hmm.
I think she's grown to be way more bitter than she ever was. Like, growing up, she had the attitude of nobody can take me down type of thing, and I'm going to do it no matter what you say. But I love that. That drove me.
Yeah.
That drove me to be the same way and saying, I don't care if you say I'm going to fail. I'm still going to make it happen. I don't care if you say I'm not the best singer. I'm still going to sing. It's that type of thing.
Yeah, when did it become more arrogance?
I think, honestly, I think it was always there. And I think if you read...
age just made her more bitter.
I think if you read Nile Rodgers' book, Le Freak, and he produced her second album, he talks about some of the antics in there that Madonna pulled, and you can actually read between the lines where he's like going, I can't believe she did that, and because I'm paraphrasing, but she said stuff like, you know, I'm the one paying the bills around here, and it's true, and it's absolutely true. It's just style over, you know, sensitivity.
Yeah, well, I don't think sensitivity's there.
Well,
I think she'll opt for style all the time.
You know, she's an amazing act, but you know, there are different ways that people have approached their stardom and their power. You know, power, like we said, is like a drug, and you never know how it's going to look or feel on a person, how they're going to react to it. I think we've all had our moments, our diva moments, but to the extent where you're hurting people's feelings, it never makes me feel good.
I think that the good message and the moral of the story is power's okay and that feeling's okay, but that could all be gone tomorrow. And you have to remember what you're leaving in your wake, because people don't forget. Right. So if you're cutting people, or you're yelling at them, or you're telling them how crappy their club is, or what their food is, whatever it is, You have to remember what tomorrow brings, which is why I was talking about the whole celebrity status of reality people, because I think a lot of these people weren't planning on this, and then here they are, regular people doing whatever they do, and they believe in the hype, and then tomorrow it's gone.
Yeah.
And then what?
Well, that happens not just with reality people,
but with everybody.
With huge stars. Yeah. Certain people, I remember when Janet Jackson couldn't even get on the radio anymore.
Yeah.
Or,
that's today.
That is the course of show business. And I'm probably in every business. Show business is more harsh in that regard.
Because it's in the public eye.
But, there are other businesses, like say if you're a horse-driven carriage rider in New York and you've got to find another business to get into because it's going away.
Yeah, so what are they going to do tomorrow?
You have to adapt yourself. Yeah. You have to have skills and know what your skills are that could translate into other businesses,
Live for today but plan for tomorrow.
Yeah,
I'm just realizing the parallel here with relationships and friendships,
right.
And the idea of when you don't have that sense of self and you go into a relationship and you're young and vulnerable and you buy into the Hollywood, a fairy tale love story, and then it's suddenly taken from you, just like becoming a huge star,
right?
And then suddenly taken from you.
Sure.
Because you don't know.
You're devastated or you're crushed, and you don't understand how it works. And it's only when you sort of do the work and you develop the fortitude to become totally true to yourself, to who you are, that you can experience those things, and then you don't buy them at face value.
Sure, you have to go walk through the fire, because it's like a crucifixion and a resurrection.
Yeah.
Because what a relationship promises or fame promises, ultimately, like Dorothy when she looks behind the curtain, isn't what it looked like from afar.
That's the bottom line, right there. And
Yeah.
so we have to remember that nothing is what it seems. It's all an illusion.
Well, friends forever, Michelle Visage, Lucian Piane.
Let the music play.
Yes, I love it. Well, it's been fun. It's been a fun show, and I love that, Lucian, you are being our first guest.
What an honor. Thank you guys so much. It's been so wonderful.
Yeah.
So funny. I just feel like I jumped into bed with both of you.
You did.
Well, you guys keep listening to our podcast. We're going to have lots of other special guests and lots of fun, lots of philosophy.
Kikis and kaikais.
Yes, you said it best. All right, bye.
See you in 2 weeks. Bye.
Bye.
Can I get an amen? Can I get an amen? If you can't love yourself, how in the hell you gonna love somebody else? Can I get an amen? And don't forget to subscribe on iTunes. If you can't love yourself, how in the hell you gonna love somebody else? Amen.